Thinking about telling someone you're autistic? Here's the 10 people you will meet when you decide to disclose your autism diagnosis. Hi friends, my name is Claire and this is my channel, Woodshed Theory. Here, I make content about what it is like to live as an adult on the autism spectrum and whatever else feels good to me. So if that sounds good to you, or if you're feeling particularly gracious today, and I hope that you are, please go ahead and click the subscribe button, ring the bell. I almost forgot to mention that sometimes I put out more than one video a week. Click the like and the share. So, you've been diagnosed with autism. Happens to the best of us. Seriously, being diagnosed with autism, whether it be in your childhood or in your adulthood, it's a big change. And of course, you may want to share that news, that change with other people as you develop into the neurodiverse person that you were made to be. But I find it's pretty common to get the same responses from people about the autism diagnosis, so I thought I'd put together kind of a tongue-in-cheek list of all the people you will meet when you disclose your autism. Just a reminder, I'm not a doctor and this is purely for your autistic enjoyment. First, the ignorer. This is the person that you tell you are autistic and it's almost like you didn't say anything at all. These people will seriously pretend that they did not hear what you said and they will continue in some other vein of the conversation. Why? I think it has something to do with them being uncomfortable or not knowing how they feel about the information that they just received. But it is pretty awkward for us when we're telling people that we're on the autism spectrum and they decide that they're not going to respond to that comment. It could also be that they haven't decided what they're going to say yet, so they've chosen to say nothing. Or maybe they think that you don't want to talk about it. But those people are definitely out there, people that you'll say, I'm on the autism spectrum too, and they will glaze right over it, just like glaze on a donut. I don't know. 2, the relator. We have all met this person. You tell them you're autistic and the response is, my nephew, my son, my grandson, my friend's son, my coworker's cousin has autism. This could be followed with nothing, just a acceptance, or it could be followed with, it doesn't look like yours though, so I'm not sure you're autistic. Regardless, I think as an autistic person, I can see why people do this. I think it's because people relate to each other by sharing their personal experience, and this is something that autistic people do, so I get it, but it can be frustrating to share your experience with someone, share your diagnosis with someone, and have them kind of shut it down by saying, you're not like an autistic person that I know or know of. But I don't necessarily think it's always coming from a bad place. I think a lot of times in this situation, people are trying to tell you that they care about someone with autism, so they care about you, but it can still be a little jarring to be compared to a 5-year-old boy. The next person that you'll meet, number 3, is the infantilizer. You've met this person, I know you have. As soon as you tell them, something changes in the atmosphere. You can feel it. You tell them you're autistic, and in the blink of an eye, all of a sudden, your IQ has lowered by 30 points. You're no longer 30, you're 5. They start talking to you like you're a child because the only people that they know of or have heard of with autism are kids. They also might assume that as a person with autism, you aren't very smart. Anyway, this whole thing is just terrible. Please treat autistic adults like autistic adults and autistic children like autistic children. If anything, I find normally that autistic people are kind of mature for their age. You don't have to infantilize us or start kind of talking down to us because you think that maybe we'll understand you better. This is really offensive. It puts us off from getting closer to you. I think somewhere in there, there might be a concern for our sensory needs as autistic people, but the person doesn't know how to relay that to you. So instead it's just, oh, that's nice. When did you learn that? Number 4, the consoler.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. That's terrible. Oh, you must be so devastated.
Dude, I'm right here. I'm still alive. I haven't died, and the only thing that's changed about me is now I know more about myself, and I can change my behavior accordingly to fit my sensory and other needs. I don't need you to treat me like I've just been given like a terminal diagnosis. That's strange. That's weird. If anything, now you'll get to know the real us because we've told you about the real us and we've given you an expectation of maybe what you should expect from us. So acting like it's bad or sad or the worst thing that's ever happened to us or overly concerned is weird. It's weird, but you will meet those people who treat it like bad news. I'm not saying that autistic people don't have struggles. We absolutely have struggles. We all have different things that we encounter as autistic people, sensory issues, etc. To treat us like we have a terminal disease, weird. And people do it. People do that sometimes. 5, the overly supportive one. Oh my gosh, that's great! Oh wow, autism, wow, you got an autism diagnosis, that's amazing! Derek, did you hear that? I don't even know what character that is. I'm having too much fun. Yes, you will meet people who are overly enthusiastic about it. Maybe it's another autistic person and they're just excited to meet another autistic person, but I'm kind of referring to someone who makes too big of a deal about it. Like strangely celebrates it, shares it with others in a strange way. Have you experienced this? Because I know a lot of people do. Now, don't get me wrong, I love like a passive-aggressive joke. Like, have you ever seen people who give like cakes that say congrats on your autism and stuff like that? That's great. I love a little dark humor. But to be overly excited or overly... It just seems like you're acting, right? It seems like the person is overcompensating for their uncomfortable feelings. And that is awkward and it sucks. But there's another person that you'll meet. Ooh, number 6, the corrector. Hi, my name is Claire and I just wanted to let you know that I'm autistic. I think what you mean is person with autism. As a neurotypical person with a general knowledge of autism spectrum condition, I would prefer that you refer to autistic people in this way because that is what autistic people like, and I know that because I don't know how they think they know it. Sometimes you'll meet people who will speak for the autistic community even when they're not part of it. It can be annoying, but I've learned just to laugh at it. Remember that some people are not ignorant on purpose. That's what I try to remember. They're trying to be a good person and to fight for equality and acceptance. But the truth is, you can call yourself whatever you want. You can call yourself an autistic alien, an alien with autism, who cares? Or they'll correct you on the severity of your condition because they can see through your human suit into your soul and your mind, and they know everything that you're going through. So they'll make corrections to you about your diagnosis, how you're feeling, how you should feel. 7 is one of my favorites. The denier. You will inevitably meet people who tell you, no, you are not autistic. Because people don't understand autism and the autism spectrum, you will run into people who will deny that you're on the autism spectrum, either to your face, or they may seem like they're the ignorer, but really They're the denier and they go and talk to other people about it. I find that usually these people are uncomfortable with the idea of autism. They're uncomfortable with the idea that there would be anyone different from themselves. But then I also find that these are the same kind of people who have their own issues that maybe they're not looking into. You know what I mean? We all know people like that, right? A lot of deniers deny your autism once you share it with them, mostly because it makes them uncomfortable about their past behavior, or they think that your diagnosis and you telling them about your diagnosis is you saying something about them and how they treated you, or in the example, parents. This is very common for parents or relatives to deny a diagnosis. They think that they would know and they care about you, so of course they would know. They know you so well since you were a baby. You act like they act, or you act like your brother. Usually it's because there's probably autism in your family, and they don't want to, or they're not ready to accept it. They have a very small view of what autism can be. And all they see is a non-verbal 5-year-old boy. And they're out there, and they're part of our community, and I'm happy that they are. But it's not all of us. Not everyone who's on the autism spectrum is the same. Number 8, the downplayer. I've experienced this personally. This is the person that you say, I am autistic too, and they say, well, at least high functioning. Well, it seems like you've got a good handle on it. Something like that along those lines. The downplayer is usually someone who, again, is trying to make themselves more comfortable with the fact that they've just been told that you're autistic. They're downplaying your diagnosis, one, because they think they're making you feel better. Like, I never would have known. No way, I never would have known that you were autistic. You don't seem autistic at all. It must be very mild. And they'll downplay your autism diagnosis because, one, they're trying to make you more comfortable, saying, oh, you're neurotypical appearing. I view you as a neurotypical to make you feel better. Or, as I've mentioned for a lot of these other people, these other characters, they don't feel comfortable, and it's easier for them to reconcile it in their mind if they downplay it. 9, the at least you're not person. Now, the at least you're not person comes in different flavors. It could be a person who says, well, at least you're not high demands or high needs, at least you're high functioning, at least it doesn't affect you, it could be worse. I mean, the list goes on and on. Or they'll downplay it like, at least it's not that serious, at least you don't have a terminal illness, which is like a swing in the other direction from the consoler. They're trying to make themselves more comfortable by writing off what you just said as not that big a deal. Please don't try and make it seem like my diagnosis isn't a big deal to me. Maybe it's not a big deal to you. It shouldn't really be, I think. But the idea that you would respond to somebody sharing their diagnosis with you with the, at least you're not ... Were we comparing? Did I say I have cancer? Did I say whatever? No, I'm just telling you that I have an autism diagnosis and I'm trying to share that with you. So please let me. 10, this is a great one. This is a positive one. I'll call this person the chill person. They don't make too big of a deal about it, but they do let you hold space and share your diagnosis with them. They listen to what you have to say. They may take a step back, think about it for a little while, and then talk to you about how this has affected your life and maybe what can they do? What things need to change about their behavior? What do you need? How is it going? Especially if you're a late diagnosed person, it's pretty stressful to go through the diagnostic process. And then when you come out on the other end, you feel both like you have been through a tornado, but then also the best you've ever felt. It's a very strange place to be. So checking in with your friend or person that you've met, showing them that you care about them as a person, accepting the diagnosis and caring about them as a person and not trying to make it about you, that's the chill one. That's the one that I want to talk to. And that's most people I've found. I thoroughly believe that not all of the people on this list are bad people. They're just trying to cope with what you just told them. They're just trying to cope with the information that they have about autism and how it relates to you. And that could be a lot for a person to process in a short period of time. Just try to not take those situations so seriously. Or maybe they're just a jerk, and sometimes people are jerks, and you don't need those people in your life. That's it! Those are the 10 people you will meet when you disclose your autism diagnosis. I know that there are many more. I would love to hear in the comments which ones you have met, and also if there are any others that you have met. I know that y'all have some good stories, so please share them in the comments. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye, friends!